Hi, in this video I'm going to show you how to add some JavaScript to your web page. Now we're not going to type it into the JS window over here. And the reason for that is simply that this will load, it will load after the HTML has been written, and we don't want to do that. So we're going to be writing it between script tags up here in the head. Remember I said right at the beginning that one of the things that happens in the head is you can have some JavaScript running. So we're going to have some script that runs, and what it's going to do is it's going to ask the person viewing the web page what their name is, what their favorite color is, and then in the body of the web page, it's going to write out a message, basically telling the person that they've been pranked, that this website is a fake. And why the favorite color, you ask? Well, it's going to write it out in that color. So the text will be in the person's favorite color. Quite a nice little script. So we're going to be typing it here inside the HTML window. But if I type it inside script tags, you'll notice that as I type it, what's going to happen is it's going to try and load, and it's going to constantly reload. So rather what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of those script tags, and I'm going to add them at the end. So as I type the JavaScript and type in JavaScript commands, it's not going to know it's JavaScript, and it's going to kind of ignore it for the moment. So, and then I'll add the script tags around it afterwards. That's normally what you would do, is type this. You open up a notepad, open up a plain text editor, and just type it and then copy it in afterwards. So how is this going to work? Well, it needs to store your name, and anything that gets stored inside JavaScript must be a variable. Just like the value of X or Y in maths, for example, that's used in the formula, you tell the calculation what the value of X or Y is going to be. You say X equals 2 or Y equals 3, and then you can do your calculation. X plus Y is 2 plus 3 equals 5. So that's called declaring your variables, when you say that a variable equals something. So for example, if I said var name equals, and then I put, two, no, not those. And then the end of a JavaScript sentence is always a semicolon, and it's name, not Bane. And inside those semicolons, I could write the name of someone. So I could say Nomatemba. Then it would store the name Nomatemba as a variable. And if I wanted a favorite color, for example, I could do the same. I could say var, I could call it fav or col or something like that, equals, and then I put my semicolon at the end of the JavaScript sentence, and inside I would write her favorite color is red. Okay, so I could do it that way, but the problem is that how do I know that the person reading the page, that's going to be their name? I can't do that. So what I have to do is instead use something called the prompt method. Now, what the prompt method does is it asks the user to type in what their name is. So I've put that up by saying prompt, and I have two brackets. And then inside those two brackets, and you'll notice whatever I'm writing is typing on the web page right at the top there, and that's because this page doesn't know what to do with that text. I'm just typing it, so it's just writing it there at the top of my web page. So it's going to ask a question, and then it's going to have a comma, and it's going to receive an answer. And inside the question part, you would type something like, what is your name? And then it would receive an answer. So I'm going to create a variable called name, and I'm going to assign a value. That equals means assign a value by prompting the user, what is your name? And whatever they answer inside those quotation marks will be added to that variable name. So whatever they type will now become what name is. And I can do the same for red here. So instead of just saying red, I'm going to go prompt them for an answer. I'm going to ask a question, comma, and stand by to receive an answer. And then inside the question, I would just say, what is your favorite color? And I don't have to use American spelling here because it's a question. It's not part of the HTML text. And then finally, I can have my third variable, which is a message. And that's going to be equal to whatever I put inside the message. And I end it with a semicolon. So just make sure all your JavaScript sentences end with a semicolon. And inside the message, I can put whatever I want. So I can say, you have been pranked. This website is a hoax. Okay, so I've now got a message. I'm asking the user what their favorite color is, and I'm asking them what their name is. So having done all that text, what I can now do is put it inside script tag. So I put it inside a script tag, go to the end, I close my script tag. And once I've done that, you'll notice that as it refreshes, all of that should go away. That stuff at the top there. Let me just save my project. Oh, and the reason it isn't is I misspelt script. Okay, so now it all goes away and an embedded page is asking, what is your name? Okay, so I better put in my name. So you would type in your name. You click OK. What is your favorite color? Well, let me say green. And I click OK. And then the page loads. Now, you'll notice there's no message saying you've been pranked, website is a hoax, because I haven't put that into the body of the website yet. That's the next step. That's the next thing that I need to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down to right down at the bottom of the web page, and I'm going to create most annoying. This is where this starts happening. I'm going to create a paragraph tag and close a paragraph tag. And you notice it's constantly trying to intervene over here. So what I'm going to do is I'll just go cancel. I'll go up to the top and I'll just remove that script again, just so that it will type out in the web page, and I'll put that script back at the end. So now all of my JavaScript is appearing at the top there. I've just got to remember to put the script back again. So inside my paragraph tags, what I wanted to do now is say my name, well, print out in the color that I wanted to print out in. And again, what it's going to have to be script tags. So all of this is going to run inside script tags. So I'm going to have an opening and a closing script tag. And I'm going to put that in at the end. So I'm not going to write it now, because otherwise it's going to constantly refresh in my page, just like you saw just now. So the way that JavaScript writes out is called a document write. So it's now got to, inside the paragraph tag and inside the script tag, it's got to say document dot write. And then inside the brackets, it writes whatever you tell it to write. So this is called the write method. And where is it writing to? It's writing to the document. And whatever I type in here is what's going to appear inside the body of the text. It's almost like writing HTML now. And the first thing I want to do is I want to change the font color. So I could do that by using a font tag. So remember that whatever you write has got to be inside quotation marks. So I've got to put font, and then I've got to write color equals. This is another way of changing font color within HTML. So it's saying font color equals. And then I want to add to that the color that I've stored. Now I stored it as a variable inside JavaScript called fav. So I can just write fav. You'll notice I'm joining these two together using plus signs. This plus sign doesn't mean plus as in arithmetic, plus, minus, multiply, divide. What it means is join together. That's called concatenation. So I'm saying font color equals, and then I'm putting JavaScript is going to add that color. Then I've got to finish off by adding, it's got to close the font, hasn't it? It's got to do that. So now it reads, open the triangular bracket, font color equals fav, and then it closes that bracket. And to avoid confusion, I could just carry on using pluses, but instead I'm going to do a new line. It just makes it easier to read. I'm going to go document write, curly brackets, curly brackets, and then close it with a semicolon. And now I can write my message. So I'm going to say something like, hello. Well, normally you'd have a comma there, wouldn't you? And then a space. And then I'm going to concatenate. I'm going to add the name of the person. And then I'm going to go on and I'm going to finish the message. And I need to have a comma. No, I need to have a full stop. Hey, full stop and space. And then to that, I'm going to concatenate message. And then I haven't quite finished yet because I've got to do one last document write. Whoops. Bracket, close bracket, semicolon. I'm writing on my lap, so I have to lean forward on the keyboard and it's difficult to write. And inside that, what I'm going to do is close my font tag. Never forget to close your tags. And all of that sits inside a piece of script. So in other words, what it's going to do is it's going to write font color equals fav, and then it's going to go hello, name, a full stop, and then the message. And then it's going to write out closing the font tag, opening the font tag, closing the font tag. So the color should be your favorite color, and your name should be inserted here, and the message that we created in JavaScript should be inserted there. Notice text is inside quotation marks, but the names of variables are not. Okay, so now it's time to test it. And to test it, what we need to do is we just need to add our script tags everywhere. Oops, not scrippy, but script. Now we've got a piece of script, so you notice the stuff at the bottom there has disappeared because it's now no longer seeing as text. And I've got to go up to the top and I've got to add script tag to open all of that JavaScript and a script tag to close that JavaScript. And now it should run. So what is your name? You type it in. What is your favorite color? Why, yellow, of course. And you'll notice it's now added. Hello, it's put my name in. You've been pranked. This website is a hoax. And it's done it all in the yellow that I said was my favorite color. That's a pretty neat piece of script. So let's just go over it again. Up in the head, we get the script we want to run first. It creates a variable called name. And it prompts the user, what is your name? And it stores the answer. So whatever they type is now stored as a variable called name. It creates a variable called fav. It prompts the user, what is your favorite color? And it stores the answer as fav. And it creates a variable called message. With this message, you've been pranked. This website is a hoax. The user doesn't have to type in anything there. And then in the body of the HTML, we've created a separate paragraph. And inside the script tags, because it's now no longer going to be reading HTML, it's going to be reading script tags. It's going to write out font color equals your favorite color, and it closes the font. And those pluses are concatenation. They're just joining these things together. Anything which is text, which has to be written out to HTML in this case, is inside inverted commas, and the names of variables aren't. Document write hello, the name of the person, full stop, and the message, and then just closing the font at the end so that it writes out the message in the color by changing the font color. Try it. It's really tricky, and if you can get it to work, I think you'll be very, very satisfied. And I hope you've learned a little bit of JavaScript, how to write it between script tags, how to create variables, assign variables, declare the variables, and prompt the user for to give you the name, the contents of a variable, and then how to write out a message using HTML and variables and a mixture of that. So this is quite an advanced little script for starting off with, but I think you're up to it.